I came to believe in universal salvation very slowly and reluctantly in a lot of ways. I grew up thinking that was, pretty outside of the pale of anything that could possibly, be related to what Jesus Christ taught, very clearly. And that was always very important to me. I grew up loving Jesus and loving the Bible and always have, still do. And, that kind of was a constant in my childhood and adulthood. So it just seemed really, really like a kind of a devious and an awful abuse of the scriptures as I was growing up. So it didn't come easily or naturally to me at all, to be honest. But it's this combination of intellectual, reading, talking to people, and other, all different kind of not directly related aspects of theology, that are coming together. But really, probably some of the most impactful things are more kind of personal, just my own walk with God and experience of God's presence and God's help in my life, things that I was failing with, struggling with, that I just, at one point there was a pastor, priest in my life who I did this, I became Eastern Orthodox, joined the Eastern Orthodox Church, and as a part of that, the chrismation there, you do this life confession. And, it's kind of I was an adult with 3 children, and it's like, there's a lot in my life and a lot to confess. And it felt like kind of, a big deal to me. An older priest, really gentle fellow. And he said, don't try to, go into detail and confess it all, keep it simple, pray a lot beforehand, all that. But afterward, I was kind of, scared, like, what's he going to say? He said, I'm really praying for you that you would be able to more and more receive, recognize, enjoy, experience the love of God. And he said, that's my prayer for you. And, that's like all he said, after, try to lay everything on the line in this life confession. And that really stuck with me. And and he said, you should, join me in praying that for yourself. And I had always, wanted to be open to God's love for me, but to really pray that intentionally and to have that, at this kind of center of my own prayers and desires, and to sense God's presence with me through my failures and struggles. I just began to, I could say all kinds of more intellectual things or my understanding of scripture, but it was like, it just doesn't make sense that God would not be present with those who are suffering and those who are, I just love the quote. There's an elder, I think it's Elder Sophrony, and it has a Russian Orthodox kind of background, but was in the UK, and he has a famous line, I think it was an interview with Olivier Clément, a French theologian, and the theologian asked this monastic elder about universal salvation, will God save all? And the elder said, as long as there's anyone in hell, Christ will be there with them. And it's that kind of, in my own experience, like in my own, I've had a very easy, blessed life, in so many ways. But, in my own sufferings, God has been with me. In my own failures, even my own sin, it's God's love for me, his presence with me, even there, that's given me any chance of, coming to myself and realizing what I could do, what it would be like to love others in return, as God has loved me. So God's presence with me in those darkest moments really began to just give me a sense of it. Of course, that's true. Of course, God, as long as there's someone in hell, Christ will be there with them. And so at a simple level, that's like kind of a simple answer, but it's sort of personal and experiential, maybe at its core. But